Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. All right, big day today. Start off with looking at ES here. Just looking at the 30-minute, looking at the current weekly range. Unfortunately, it looks like the overnight move already took the target, which was the Monday high. So the Monday high has been swept, and now we're coming back into range. So unfortunately, since we are at all-time highs and we swept the Monday high, could expect some consolidation for this to pull back, yes, but right now ES is not looking as lucrative for trading setups, in my opinion. We got a lot of volume being built up over here. Currently trading at the current day's POC as well as Monday's POC. So from a volume profile perspective here, we get rid of the weekly and that Monday's POC, current day, previous day, broke out pretty aggressively over the previous day value area high. Nice retest. And I guess if we're going to have any continuation today, then this node around 63.68 to 63.70 should become support for a move up. But we'll look at some other stuff to see if we can get any ideas. Damn it. From a pivot perspective, on the daily, our naked pivot is all the way down there. We flip this one. So yeah, it's a bullish continuation, of course, is the most logical. Previous week levels, we also retested the high. So I mean, this is looking good for continuation. It's just going to be hard to be a buyer up here until we get another nice close above here and a retest, if we're going to have a trend day, or just even just a grindy trend continuation on the ES, that is. So just zooming out, momentum is still strong. Fibonacci extension targets, taking them from a few different points here. We're starting to move above this 0.5 level as well. So yeah, I mean, this is looking good to move up to the next expansion target. And then from the all-time high here, yeah, we're tapping on the 17.8. So I expect to get a move up, retest, and continue our way up to 6,500 or so for now. So we'll monitor. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and update our overnight levels here. So as of now, this would be our overnight high, and our overnight low would be down here. Right. So quite a bit good range on ES, over 30 points for the overnight range. You know, this makes me a little worried. Then we just had a spike up here. News-wise, there is not any big volatility event on the calendar, that is, besides existing home sales at 10 in the morning. Don't expect that to really move the market too much. And like I said, we're already seeing a decent amount of movement. Let's grind up overnight, so I'm gonna be cautious here with ES. Not looking like a lot of opportunity at the moment. So let's go ahead and look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ obviously looking much weaker, not even close to its Monday high, fighting on this trend line. We're having this divergence. So, you know, when we see this at, especially at all-time highs, or something's making a new high, we're seeing this divergence, it can portend a possible reversal, whether it's short-term, intermediate, or long-term. Nonetheless, this just alone, just by divergences, gives me a bit of thought that we could roll over a bit lower to grab some lower levels, in which, you know, we'll have to see what type of targets we have. But anyway, so this is the current weekly range. NASDAQ is currently bouncing off bearishly on the anchored VWAP, and we're just dead set in the middle at the equilibrium point of the weekly range. So this one, not as much energy, as well as not as much opportunity. I'd like to see more of a move to test this origin point of this down move on Tuesday. So NASDAQ, I'd be eyeing this move up to 23,327-ish into the upper quartile of the weekly range, in which we pretty much mitigate this whole candle, and then look for a short, you know, at least back down to retest whatever this anchor VWAP would be at the time. And that would be just from a current weekly range perspective. Looking at the previous week, you'll also notice that, yeah, this was a nice sharp re-entry back in the previous week range. So this would be a previous week high retest. Currently, we are bouncing off this value area high and the previous week close. So there might be short-term potential opportunity off the rip for a move along up here, and then we'll look for some signs of exhaustion or distribution or whatnot to bring this further down. So we'll monitor that. Overnight levels. Our overnight low is going to be right here. Overnight high. So we're trading within this fractal. So this sell up into a buy that broke this inducement, and then obviously this structural low. So this is the zone here of resistance that we're trading in, which happens to also be pretty much the golden pocket, but nonetheless, we need to move. If we were to get a move up here, close, retest, and then hit this level, I think this would be a good long. Otherwise, off the rip, want to see just some resistance to move back down, probably to the 200s. So we look at some other stuff. We did bounce nicely off that weekly pivot. We didn't do that on ES daily. There's a pivot below here. So yeah, I'd be interested in sweeping these lows first, coming down. Coming down really into here for a potential long. Volume from the low. We've got this node that we bounced off, and then this is the primary node with our low value node here. If it wants to become a balanced day, then this would probably fill out this area, in which we'd be ranging from here, but okay. So that, yeah, and the anchored VWAP is down here. So I'm most inclined to look for a long out of here up to this upper extreme on the NASDAQ here. So I'd be looking not to set any limits here, but I'd be just looking for something simple like this. Is the trade I'd be looking for. That being said, if it decides to go up here, retest, then we'll look for another opportunity. But it has to resist out of here first down for me to be wanting to trade this idea. All right, well, we're about to get the bell. There we go. All right. Can't be scared to take anything if we get it. Can't be scared to take anything if we get it. It's got to be around this 23,200 level. We're coming down pretty fast. Then we'll have to look for shifts in structure on the low time frame. So there's that sweep. Wow, lovely sell so far. Boom. So this is why we're not setting limit orders, because it's moving quite aggressively here. Need to see some sign of strength. We're not using any footprints or volume delta data. We're solely just going off candle structure and price action, naked price action for now. So we have mitigated that pretty much to the tick. Still bouncing off the anchored VWAP and that pivot. This could reverse pretty quickly. But yeah, so no trade so far. Bouncing off 23,200 level possibly. No, so now I'm not interested in that idea, and I'll likely just wait for this first 15-minute candle to form. So that means ES should be coming down decently. So really a nice move off of this trend line here. Pretty good resistance. At this point, you know, I'd want to expect it to go off the go for the overnight low. So quite a gap up. Regular trading hours here on nothing for the ES. I mean for NASDAQ. ES regular trading hours. Quite a gap. So, you know, quite the discrepancy here. Divergence between the two behemoths. Gives it a little bit of a harder read, I must say, for my own self. Bitcoin trading at the midpoint of the current weekly range at the point of control near the anchor VWAP. So choppy spot. Need to trade the extremes on that for now since it's a bit in a range. This decided to come and fill this whole imbalance. So we could potentially get a move I'd want to see. Now this can be a bit tricky because I want to see this get over this last up close candle. But that being said, it could then just shoot up and not really leave you an opportunity to get in. But we'll see what type of structure it wants to give us here. Yeah, so I mean, this would be the spot for reversal now, but we did break that. Now I need to see a bit of a retest, 23.1750.
Order submitted.
And yeah, now it's just going to shoot up probably pretty quickly.
Order submitted.
So this retest here is important. That 1 minute candle does not look very clean. I'm gonna nibble on it here.
Order filled.
We're gonna look for the overnight high, but
Order filled.
well, we're just gonna take that as a little scalp because I accidentally was trading on the fucking big contracts there. Whoops. So that was nice, little $250 real quick. I need to change the contract here. So we're in this breaker. Not looking super strong here. VWAP, that was a nice little bearish VWAP. Flagging the VWAP, as we would say. I still fancy this long.
Order filled.
I think that plays with the strength.
Order filled. Order filled.
And All right, it needs to hold up here. I'm out back below 23,200. 23,198-ish. Love to see this move all the way up to the overnight high. Gotta get over to VWAP. All right. Long is looking strong so far, baby. Oh, forgive me. I have my entries on here. So, going to diagnose this a bit more here. Just knowing that we're still in this opening range candle on the 15-minute, but quite a reaction so far after fully filling that imbalance, sweeping that little inducement of liquidity that was at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time last night. And then that first rally candle up has been filled. So that being said, and ES making new all-time highs. You know, the move up still is warranted in my opinion. Want to look at some gamma levels here on SPX. Nothing crazy actually. On the SPY. SPY gamma levels. SPY, we have a gamma flip of 62,817. Okay, looks like now it's having a bit of trouble here. Not able to get over VWAP at the moment. So it looks like, yeah, I'm gonna keep my stop. But this might, that's a good solid reaction, okay. Gonna switch over here, look at SPY. We got a flip around 62,817, so. Going to put an alert here for a gap fill. And same thing down here for SPX. Little gap fill. I also want to check NDX, the NASDAQ index, and the triple Qs. So triple Q. Always having a bit of a hard time holding up at the moment. But yeah, we're stop is kind of below this low, which is tough because it could just come to this point of origin, come back up, but it's getting a little bit sloppy here. So anyways, oh shit, I forgot I need to update my trading view here in a sec. Alright, triple Qs. 56.16. Only 56.16. This is the level that if it does get below here, we could sell quite a bit. So that's why I'd want to be out of this if it gets below and just it. We have, you know, reacted negatively off VWAP here. So the overnight low could be the target. At the moment, 23,200 holding up. Oh gosh. Alright, we're getting some movement in the higher beta assets. So Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, SWI just hit a level. So were these little these might have been little buy zones here. Like on Solana. SWI, I know I had an order here. So this NQ position looks like it's going to get stopped out.
Stop filled.
Okay, so stopped on that one. But we already caught the long, so it's still up for the day at the moment. Alright, time to look for a new idea. The 15-minute candle has now opened. You know, now I'm interested in this order block here. So okay, stop. Sorry, I have too many alerts going off. $15-minute opening range, yeah, so we have that sweep. It's just starting to look pretty nasty. We never got any closes above this. Only thing I don't like is that the sweep happened prior to the New York Open. Well, that's not my favorite, but kind of want to switch over to ES now. I'd be interested in looking for possible short trade out of here to come down to the overnight low. Unfortunately, it looks like we're getting decent speed, but these are one of those scenarios where I just don't chase even if it gets speed, and I'll just miss out on the momentum. It's just not my trading style, and it usually comes back to bite me at some point. So we're just looking at these blocks, and at this moment, where's VWAP going to be? Probably bouncing around VWAP if I had to guess at the moment. If it'll load. Yeah, there's VWAP. Yeah, coming down pretty aggressively. But now I'd be looking for something along these lines. Down to the overnight low.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Okay. So I'm gonna watch how this unfolds. Yeah, I'm definitely more keen on looking for this short continuation here down to the overnight low. Bouncing off the EWAP, already traded through it. Might have a little bit of manipulation, come back up to this volume, this order block. But sweeping that overnight, I mean the Monday high like we did, coming down with some strength, knowing that we have this gap to come down and fill as well from the overnight session. Yeah, definitely more. We already swept the overnight low. I'm not as interested in shorting NASDAQ if we do get a run up. So like I was talking about before the market open, I was talking about how we had all this volume on Monday being built up here, and then overnight we had a lot of volume being built up here. So we would need to get this confirmation above and then the retest to continue to the bullish trend. But we got such a sharp move down here below these volume levels, and we fixed this kind of poor high with that nice sweep. And this is starting to look a lot better for a short down to the bottom of the range, most definitely. So we're gonna look for a possible retest up here, and then just try to ride it down to the overnight low. That's ideal scenario here from my trading perspective and style. It's also on the opening range candle that is just the first quartile. But yeah, I gotta be patient. It could be one of those things that just rips down, but too many times I've caught myself trying to follow the momentum, shorting here or something, and then it does come back. So these days we just either miss the move or we get our retracement. That's just the rule I have to have. Are you fucking kidding me? Alright. A lot of crypto stuff is bleeding pretty heavily right here. Solana. I don't know. Need to be careful here because this could be a bit of a reversal for the next few days. This is a kind of a shitty. Yeah, Bitcoin looks like it's going to move back down to 115K. Alright. And Ethereum. Yeah, I had that level marked for a while. Alright, so Solana. Previous week, it's probably finally. I thought I had those marked out. So is it gonna give us an opportunity here? Solana coming back down and We'll have to see if it reaccumulates right here. And then with SWE, I want to see this high get taken still. All right, we do have pending existing home sales data coming out at 10 a.m. We'll get a new 4-hour candle. And if this could just not go into this small imbalance and retrace up, at least we have an intermediate target to take some profit off at. But this is starting to look like some sort of expanding channel, you know? So which could be pretty nasty because there's just a bunch of liquidity grabs. 1-hour candle. Ah. Looks like the Russell's going down. Gold is down. The VIX is still pretty low for this short-term move here. So I'm not seeing the increase in volatility at the moment. All right, so about 2 minutes, and then we should get Maybe some more clarification here. Nasdaq was already the overnight low sweep. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan just of this structure. Some of me thinks, yeah, you could get this long up into these highs, but doesn't look like clean. We got gold bouncing off of the weekly anchored VWAP for this current week's range, way above previous week levels. Let's note here on this fractal with one more, with this arrival candle being swept to move back up into this range for a long. Set an alert right there. Alright, SPY coming to fill the gap here. QQQ though, unfortunately, coming down below this gamma level, so this could sell off in a precarious spot right here, because you don't want to really sell the lows, or I don't, if it's moving, but you know, you do have a possibility for just a quick reversal up, but you don't really want to take that long against the trend. So you really are just sitting on your hands waiting for some sort of retracement. And this might come down just far enough so that this entry point is within the golden pocket. That would be very typical. At least getting above a 50% retracement on here. So yeah, looking like it might get a short-term bounce here. All these lows have been swept. We came into... we haven't come into this origin move from yesterday. This VWAP still way down below here from this move up. So yeah, gosh, the best option is just retrace right up into the 60s, mid 60s, down for the overnight low sweep into this VWAP on the uptrend. And then we have this pretty much, you can look at this as a range now. Let's look at it like this. And you just see, here's our range, swept the bottom, swept the high, come back towards the midpoint, take this low out. And so, yeah, so ideally we get this, probably something like this. and then down to fill this wick. Of course, would it be much choppier than that, but there's kind of our first impulse wave done. This is how I'm looking at it anyways. So then if we just look at this as a range, we can look at the volume levels for it. Yeah. A point of controls right at the midpoint. I mean, this is pretty, it's about a triple distribution here. We got one distribution, one. So we want to be kind of, if we're breaking through this node to the downside, we want to be testing it bearishly and trying to trade down with it, but don't really want a long here. So this 3-minute 200 simple moving average, or is it a simple or is it EMA? Yeah, simple. You know, this with this retest, it's just a good setup I'd take out all the time. So I really would like to see this retest up here. This looks like a great short opportunity. Still got downside gaps on the index and SPY to fill. QQQ, of course, is turning down beforehand, which is putting some heavy pressure on the ES. Could see a little bit of a long here if we can get back above this and reclaim this overnight low after tapping the origin of this move. I'm not opposed to that idea at all. He's got another 15-minute candle closure. This is looking a little bit like a rounded bottom here. And now this will give us our answer here. Okay, yeah, it looks like we're gonna get this long. I'm gonna go ahead and enter.
Order filled. Order filled.
Up to 23,230 level. Where I want to see it. Reclaim that overnight low. We did. Now I just need to see kind of a move above this. Closure would be nice. We've already swept this kind of 3 drives pattern, this failed breakdown now, so a bit more 23,225, something like that. Got a little bit of an order flow change here, taking out the last 15-minute candles, the one that made a low, taking out its high. Yeah, I mean, another retest of 23,173 is warranted. I would add one more there.
Order submitted.
Take this. So yeah, we're long on the NASDAQ. We'll aim for it to come down and retest again around that 23,170 level. I'll pick up one more micro. Otherwise, just gonna try to let this run up to 23,225-ish. And then maybe at that point, ES will be at the level where I'm more interested.
Order filled.
All right, so we got filled on one. Now, you know, where's VWAP? Gotta take one off around VWAP. This could have just been a liquidity grab, of course, but yeah, I really wanted to bounce right here, not really go below this 160 level. So what doesn't look good about this is obviously these wicks just above that high and not getting any closures above. Looks more like a liquidity grab now. Might need to cut this one. Still holding up though in this consolidation. Really just
Order submitted.
so we're still long here. See if we can get a move. At least to the VWAP so I can just kind of so I can remanage this trade here, but yes, this is all kind of the idea that this area is a magnet, so all these things are going to be pulled up. I hit this origin down here of the move after sweeping the overnight low, coming back in, reclaiming it, taking out this high that made that low, and so you know, not a bad trade here in my opinion. Definitely making us work for it quite a bit, eh? So this is looking kind of like a classic. If this does get up here, this is looking kind of like a classic. We got this first move up, second move, third, liquidate, and then up. So especially because we're not getting over this level right now. Yeah, definitely just a lot more downside pressure here on the NASDAQ being held down the last 2 days. All right, here we go. Bit of a move up. Getting to the point where like I said, I want to be cognizant of this kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up pattern, or this is just a liquidity grab. ES is finally coming up to target. So will that give? NASDAQ just doesn't look like it has the legs. But we're just gonna hold on here. Waiting here. As usual, it's often a waiting game, eh? I feel inclined to move my stop up to the 160s. I just worry about this little grab. Alright, and because ES is getting to the point that I want to short, and NASDAQ is still grinding here, I'm a little bit less ecstatic about NQ getting up higher. But she's still grinding up here. At least get to this first target, and we can move our stop to break even. Alright, there's a bit of energy. There we go. Okay, come on. Let's get a bit of continuation here. At least get to this first target. And we gotta start moving our stop up a bit. De-risking. It's pretty much at a break-even risk-free trade at the moment, but let's get that target.
Order filled.
Alright, I'm getting out of that one. Looks like this short is coming. Actually, it looks like it's about to do what I said earlier. Take this low. And then move up. So let's see if we get that. It'll be down until like 157. Alright, glad I got out of that long. We're just gonna grind up to this level, aren't we? So on a like short-term bounce down into here. These slow mornings. This is what happens when, I mean, we did get a good move off the open, but there was that retest right there. The first retest, pretty solid, I suppose. Actually, what would it look like on a 5-second? Alright, so here's maybe a long opportunity.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Bullish, hidden bullish divergence here. 1 minute.
Order filled. Order filled. Order submitted.
Alright, entering long again here on the NASDAQ. See if we can finally get that push as the 15-minute candle just printed. And we still have stayed above, closed above this overnight low twice. So maybe we'll finally get a move up to VWAP and then up to this origin order block. So that's the thought at the moment. All right, pretty nice 1 minute candle bottom there. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna move my stop up to 167. Come on. Just not getting any follow through here. Yeah. So then we come back. get above this high, and then I'm moving my stop. Yeah. All right. No reason to let myself lose any money on this trade. So stop is at break even now. Thesis still remains the same. Up on this and ES until we get that short trade. Could this be finally where we get to move up? Gosh, it's just been so boring. There we go. There's some energy.
Order canceled.
Alright, I just took one off there.
Order canceled.
Let one ride. Just because it's been so lackluster this morning. Just going to try to lock in some profits at least. See how it trades here at VWAP. Move the stop up. Profitable trade nonetheless. Oh, hey, Peepcast. How's it going, my friend? The music is just some lo-fi chill hop beats. I'm playing this because I'm streaming it on YouTube as well, and YouTube has, you know, a bunch of copyright laws with music, and because I have this recorded for the streaming, I mean for trading, I just gotta play these like little mixes. I'm doing well, mate. Just trying to get back into streaming some trading in the morning, you know, doing some work. Doing a little challenge right now. I'm trying to turn this account into a certain amount. But other than that, doing well. It's 10:54 in the morning. Probably trade here for another 40 minutes, and then I'll head to the gym. So good day ahead of us. How about yourself, my friend? I guess it's pretty damn late for you right now, huh? Big chillin'. Huh? Yeah, I saw that you were streaming. How was the stream? What'd you do? Were you guys just chatting, or did you play some games? Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna have to come on and do a just chatting stream. Some Donkey Kong Country? Hell yeah. I got let's see what I got. The you know, I have my 64 back here. I got Donkey Kong 64, baby. Ain't nothing better than finding some golden bananas, huh? I gotta play this. I need to get an emulator thing. Oh, nice. All right, looks like we're getting a move up here finally. I got the old school RuneScape though in the background, doing some thieving in Varlamore. All right, move this stop up now. All right, here we go. Coming up to where I want to take a short at. Yeah, I need to turn the notifications off. Actually, I'm just gonna log off for a sec. The desktop notifications do get a bit annoying. I need to turn those off. I don't know. It just came out this morning. I know some people there's like a certain quest you got to do. I was watching Wook's like right when I woke up like 2 hours ago, just for a second as he was trying to solo the boss, but there wasn't a lot of anticipation or hype for this one. I didn't hear much chatter about it, but I think there's a new fletching minigame or something that came out as well, so I'll probably check it out later once somebody is by the end of the day, probably someone will already have a RuneLite plugin for it. But I don't really know. I'm so far removed from the raiding and bossing at the moment, so I have no idea. Like, my account's too low level. So, PP sad. Let's see. Alright, come on. Just do this continuation here. Trading futures, so it's pretty much like trading stocks. So it's like, for instance, like in the U.S., the stock exchange, you can trade individual stocks, and then you can trade, like, let's say the top 500 companies in the U.S. Imagine they're like all bundled together as like one product, and so like you can trade like the whole market. So like these instruments that I'm trading, the futures, are like a bundle of all the stocks, and so it just kind of tracks how the whole market's doing. But it's just like normal. It's like normal buying and selling stocks, if you can just think of it that way, but just with a little bit higher leverage. But yeah, it can be kind of confusing to explain, but you just think of it as pretty much we're just sitting here like buying, like we're looking at Bitcoin as well. Like I'm looking at Bitcoin, and so we're trading that. We're looking at Ethereum, Solana. So it's like, it's the same thing. You're just pressing buy or sell. It's just a different instrument, but it pretty much tracks the whole market, is the best way to put it. So like if Apple's moving 1%, Meta's moving 1%, and then like Tesla's going down 1%, like all of that's going to be bundled together, and it's going to create, some sort of movement for the whole market. And that's kind of the gist of it. All right, here we are. We're hitting the VWAP. Oh yeah, finally getting this good move. I'm going to close it out here.
Order filled.
All right. All right, time to switch over here and look for a possible short opportunity. Yeah, the S&P 500, yes, is the top 500 U.S. companies by market capitalization. So, like, by how big they are. Like, if Apple is $1 trillion company, it's going to have a certain weight, like, 7% of that index. So, like, S&P 500, then, like, 7% of that movement will be based off of Apple's movement. But, yeah, that's what the S&P 500 is. It's an index. And then futures are just like a product that tracks that index that you can trade. It's a bit of a confusing topic for sure. It takes a little bit of maybe like showing some examples and stuff, but yeah, no, you're right. It's like the S&P 500. All right. So we're going to be looking for possible resistance here. Alright, glad I took that off. Come on now. Do not stall out early, please. Alright. Fucking A. It's gonna stall out early, isn't it? God damn. Oh, we gotta wait patiently still. How do you know when to buy and sell? Well, that's the $1 billion question, right? You don't really fully know when to buy and sell. You just get like patterns and signals that what we call the edge. Like when certain things happen that might give you a better idea of if it's going to go up or down. And it's all just patterns and stuff. Like, for instance, yeah, I'm edging in the market for sure. We're gooning over here on the S&P 500 each and every single day. But yeah, that's the $1 million question, my friend. When to buy and when to sell. If I knew that, I certainly would not be here right now. But really, it's just about probabilities, you know? Just finding little spots in the market where it's at extremes and then it might have to come back and mean revert. And, you know, having like a 70% chances at doing it. And then just doing it over time like a casino. Being consistent with your risk management. All of that is, you know, it's just kind of one big casino, and you're just trying to be the house. Because, like, you know, if you go to a casino, every single game there has at least over a 50% chance of them winning. And then they just want to keep you there by having table minimums, because they know the more and more that you play, the more and more likely that the odds will play out for them to win money. And it's the same concept here in the market. You're just looking for those opportunities that give you a slight edge and then just doing it consistently. Yeah. And that's how it is. It's just like you create kind of a system like that, and then over time compound your money. And that's the nature of the game. And then, you know, so we're trying to do the most of here, but we're in, I don't like how we front ran the level that I wanted. So I'm going to have to wait. Only if it comes maybe back down. That kind of ruined my trading plan there. We got this little flag happening, so we'll see if we get another bounce and then move back up. There's a VWAP. We got bounce with the VWAP. Oh shit. Forgot. IB low. IB high. 6363.5. Twenty-three to 3.5. 23 to 3.5. All right, looks like we were good about not shorting early here. Waiting for it to come up to our level at least. Patience is key in this game. Gamma flip all the way down at 62.58.59. Yeah, dude, we have a lot of resistance up here, so this is the level. 63.30. Yeah, I like this for continuation. Come on, just come take the high again. Spy. Gamma flip now down here. Positive gamma. I would really like to get this short before about 11:30ish. Tesla at 333. GoPro, Krispy Kreme. We got some meme stocks going. Let's see. Go. These GoPros, G Pro. Holy titties. Krispy Kreme. D Nut. Still patiently waiting. Per usual. Let's get this move up into the current day value area high. Take this local high again, please. But I could see us rejecting right here as well. Do we have any earnings today of importance? There's some before the bell. Is that it? No big earnings today.
Order canceled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Ah, shit. So PSC has shifted now to 63.61. What's up, custodian? The custodian is in the chat, cleaning up. Yo, dirty cat. I'm just waiting for this short opportunity here. Bit of a slow day, still a positive one, but just need to get this high taken. I'm getting pretty tired again. I want to see this move before around 11:30. That's fair. But we're just looking at trading futures. So essentially this product that we're looking at is like the S&P 500, but it's the futures contract. So just imagine all this movement is the S&P 500, all 500 companies moving together as one whole entity. So the top 500 companies by market capitalization. And then the futures product is just, you know, the derivative that tracks that. That's a liquid instrument to trade. And so we're just looking. We're looking for a possible short off this. Market decided to go down, so the whole market essentially went down this morning. Now it's just slowly grinding back up into this resistance area where all this chop was, and we're looking to take some sort of short out of here back down, so we'd get some sort of wave structure like this. Something like that throughout the rest of the day. See what Bitcoin is up to. Take away this. Bitcoin still trading in this lower dimensional range here. This was possibly a buy opportunity to come back and take the high of the range, but not very clean in my opinion for trading, but it is reclaiming this point of control. However, if we do get shorts out of here, me would think that Bitcoin would follow suit, so don't really want to be a buyer. Here we go. We got this 200 simple moving average retest. All right, here we go. We're getting some action here. Come on now. It's 11:30, which means London is essentially closed and the FX market tends to dry up. So now we would like to see a bit of a move to take this most recent liquidity and then continue down during lunch. Yeah, it's choppy, but it's going up. It's grinding. There's just not a lot of news today. There wasn't any big data release.
Order filled.
63.69. I believe that. I could see that for sure. That's kind of coming up right here. 63.69. I actually like that area. That'd be up in the golden pocket. Right here on the 618 retracement. Right up there. That'd fill this full imbalance. I mean, that's exactly where we're looking for the short. So I could see that'd be the peak for the rest of the day. Technically, the peak is already up here for the whole daily session, but we just took one entry here. Now we're looking for any type of shift in structure in the lower time frame. So we already got one sign of weakness. The minute candle that came up, touched our resistance zone, came back. We already took that low, so we're starting to see a willingness to want to go lower, even if it's going higher, as it hits these zones. And it's just wicking above these levels, so we're in it. So I think we could go ahead and start kind of building a small position on this account.
Order filled. Order filled.
Let me go ahead and put 2 on the moment, and we're gonna look for a 63.43 ideally. But we're willing to
Order submitted.
get a few more entries here.
Order submitted.
And right there.
Order submitted.
Alright, so we've already got some yeah, dude, I think this is the spot. I'm okay with another swipe up though to these levels because I'd like to get a few more contracts. But I just in case we do swipe down from here, because it was right at the 30-minute mark, want to have some access. Really, now we just have to get below this VWAP, back below about 63.61-ish. And if we take down this low, well, we can get kind of a move like this, retest, and then that would be another possible entry. Yeah, how much are they expecting it to tank, though? I don't think we really... I mean, I can see us coming... Yeah, if we can get below, like, 628 on the SPY today, we certainly can move down quite a bit. to at least start filling these gaps. That would be nice. Yeah, down to like 608. So come down like 3.5 to 4%. That'd be still some pretty good tankage. What's 3.5, 4% on the ES from here? That would be. That'd be like. Oh gosh. 4% would be, yeah, around like 6,100, 3.5. Yeah, I could totally see this happening as we're ranging above all these all-time highs. I also see like this this kind of broadening channel pattern, expanded channel like this. And which where we could get, you know, in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we could get move down like right here, and then back up, and then down, and that would be just mass carnage, because it just would be hard to be on the right side. Alright, well, we're getting a push off now. So glad we got in with access at the moment. We can take this low. It's looking good so far. I might have to get, if it closes below here, I'm gonna try to get another entry on the IBM. Should be at 63.63. Only if it closes below. Now, of course, and it didn't. Wait, let's make sure it didn't close below on the ES. Oh, it did. So yeah, we're okay with that then. 63, 63. 50.
Order submitted.
Now I think it's gonna go down.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
Might start going. Yep, this is the collective behavior of human psychology and mass sentiment on a global scale, all depicted in ticks on a price chart, essentially, is a good way to put it. And ironically, just like anything, it's all mathematic, and it all flows, ebbs and flows and patterns, and troughs and amplitude and crescendos and sine waves from peak to bottom. Everything flow. Alright, let's see if we get another entry here. Oh.
Order filled.
Alright, so now realistically, I need to move my stop above this high. It could still go down, but now that we're deciding to play it a little bit lower, we can always enter back in, but we want to mitigate our risk. So and we'll want to take one off around these lows.
Order submitted.
And then around 49.75. We'll take another one off and then let the
Order
other two.
submitted.
And hopefully that'll just flush down here in a bit. It is getting to lunchtime though, so it might chop around, range around here, and then does one last spike up there and then goes. So need to be careful about that. That's why ideally I'd like to get, one, take profit, move the stop to break even. And so here we're bouncing on VWAP. We got our closure below that order block, and this is just looking good. This is looking like a trade. It's looking like a trade to go down, baby boy. NASDAQ chopping around the VWAP.
Order canceled.
Put that account in profit already. Risk-free trade on there. Still getting some wicks though on this VWAP. Gotta get below here. So now ideally a 5-minute closure below this low will give me a lot of confidence that we're gonna head down to this low, to these lower lows for sure. But looking good so far. Definitely the type of setup I like to take all the time. Having a hard time getting below VWAP. Might still want to move up into this block here a bit. Uh-oh. What happened to our connection? My Ninja Trader froze. Of course.
Stop failed.
Alright, so it's actually coming back now. So now we're going to have to readjust here.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order canceled. Order canceled.
Oops.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order canceled.
And so now we need a bit higher into this. That's why we mitigated our risk earlier.
Order filled.
There we go. And NASDAQ is hitting the target as well now. So hopefully we get
Order filled.
some
Stop filled.
holy fuck, never mind. Holy shit. What the fuck just happened? We just got some news. Or something. Thankfully I didn't mark it in on that. So we're still in the profits for today, but whoa. Well, that changes everything now. Changes everything. Now I have to I kind of have to wait till afternoon session now to get an idea what's gonna happen, because that was not the resistance I wanted to hold up. There must be some tariff news. Let's see what's on the breaking news over here. There's gold coming down. I'm not seeing anything yet. Any headlines? Yeah, gold is this morning was looking at this level, but looks like there might be some headline risk going on right now. 'Cause I don't really know exactly why ES and NASDAQ boomed up like that quick. It was a bit of an anomaly, so now my thesis has changed. So I'm gonna call it a morning session. Not a crazy morning session, only $145 realized in profit, but I'm gonna go hit the gym, come back, see what the market digests over lunch, and then see if we can get a trade during the afternoon. But for now, I don't have a bias or anything or an idea. But custodian, keep cleaning up Houston, baby. I'm gonna head out for now. Thanks for joining. Thanks for speaking. I'm gonna go hit the gym. I'm not gonna touch anything right now. Wait for the lunch digestion. But I'll be back later with a recap as well of the day. So we'll see what happens here. Much love. Peace out.